Hi, everyone. This is Eliza Coleman, the stunt coordinator on Hereditary and Kevin Williamson's film Sick, and you are watching Craven Something Scary.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. So, whether you're here tonight as a visitor, a subscriber, a patron, or a channel member, otherwise known as my Cravenites, I welcome you all, and I hope you have a great time tonight. This is going to be a stream I thought would be really fun. It's a little different because it's a topic driven stream tonight, versus kind of general talk or breaking news kind of stuff. I thought it'd be fun for us to talk about our top 10 picks for introductory horror movies for newbies, but basically folks that are just new to the genre and they want to tip their toes into horror and see, kind of gradually get into it and see if it's for them, or they know it's for them, but they just don't know where to start, right? They don't know where to go first. So, in that spirit, this stream is about talking about, and I want you guys to also participate, of course. We're going to talk about what we think, in our own opinions, are nice introductory movies to the genre of horror, and just to kind of get them in there, get a feel for it, and then they can go into the deeper waters. All right. And I do have a guest joining me tonight, and I'll bring her on in just a moment. But before I do that, I just want to mention that you have the opportunity tonight to, again, also to participate, and I hope that you will. And always remember that if you have a question, comment, a movie pick that you want to make sure that me and my guest see and can acknowledge and put you up on the screen, please remember you have the option to do that by sending a super chat. And if you do send a super chat, you accomplished a couple of things. Not only are you getting your question or comment acknowledged, but you're helping the channel. You're helping my channel here at Craving Something Scary and our amazing community. You're helping it to grow. You're helping it to continue so that I can do more streams, have more guests on. And guys, let me tell you something. Sneak peek. I'm not going to reveal the whole thing, but I'm going to tell you something right now. Today, it literally happened today, this afternoon. I got an email, and I did not solicit anything. I got an email from a guest who's been on my channel before. You would know them. And basically what I'm just trying to be real careful because I don't have it date locked in. We're working on dates right now. I sent them dates. But basically, when I get this announcement officially made, they sent me and said, hey, we have an event. Yeah, I said we. That's right. It's more than one person. We have an event, and we want to come on your channel to talk about it. I'm honored, number one, that they even thought about that. Like they selected, again, this was out of the blue, that they said, hey, we want to come on your channel. And that's a testament not only to what I've done, but that's a testament to you guys, because you're an amazing community and you guys know how much I care about you guys. And I really do. And I always say that we do life together. And I mean that. And I think you guys know that, especially those who've been here for a while. But these individuals want to come here and make an announcement for an event that's happening in Las Vegas in March. And I just got to tell you, I cannot wait. I'm already thinking about setting up the stream and start promoting it. And it's going to be a panel of 3 people, and it's going to be amazing. So I won't go on any more about it for now. Just stay tuned. And as soon as I lock in a date, you guys will be the first to know. I will let you know. All right. But the point I'm saying is sending a super chat, support, and becoming a channel member, all those things, you guys see you're helping this channel grow and helping me to be able to do things like that. It's amazing. So I appreciate you guys' support. All right. And before I get to the chat, let me bring my guest on. And you've seen her here before. She's so much fun. And she's got her list ready as well as I do. And we're going to have a great time with you guys tonight talking about these introductory horror movies. Please welcome Rachel McDonald to the stage. Hey, Rachel.
Hello, Cravenites. Very excited to be here. And now I'm really excited about this teaser you've done for this whatever's going to happen and come March. So lots of excitement going on today.
It really is. I mean, crazy news from Scream World with Dempsey being basically written out. And by the way, if you guys in the chat, if you've not seen my video yet, hey, Julie, I see Julie's here. How you doing, Julie? Glad you're here. Thank you so much. Julie is one of our my amazing moderators here tonight. And Julie, if you wouldn't mind, if you get a second, if you could post the link to what was I talking about? I just went blank.
Scream 7 video.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Gosh, I went totally. There's so much going on.
Yes.
Julie, if you could post a link to my newest video, or I posted earlier, about the news about Dempsey, I'd appreciate it. Oh, look at that. She's all over it. Look at there, all over it.
Julie's on.
All right. It's awesome. Julie is. She's great. She is so awesome. So guys, if you haven't seen the video, when the stream is over, check it out. Go check it out, please. I'd like you to see it, and I want to get your thoughts on what you guys think about it in the comments section. All right. All right. Having said all that, before Rachel and I start, we got to get to the chat. I want to say hello. We got a lot of folks here, and I appreciate you. And hey, we got a super chat already in for $2 from Board
Awesome.
Now. Hey, have a great stream, everyone. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, he sent this in before we were live. That's awesome. Much appreciated, man. All right, we got Melissa in the house. So we got Paula. I'm going to go kind of quick because for the sake of time. Jerry's here. Jerry Wilson. It's always good to see you. King Matthew III, always as well. Good to see you. RJ is here. Just got back from a shopping trip and he's tired. Well, RJ, come relax and enjoy the stream. Kaz or Cause, I'm not sure which.
Kaz, that's my bestie Kaz. She said she'd stop by today's stream, so shout out to her.
Hey, there you go. Thanks, Kaz. All right, let me see. Who else we got? Kevin Hawthorne. What's up, Kevin? Good to see you. All right. Antonio's here. And hey, look here, guys. We got some channel anniversaries. We got super chats coming in. Keep them coming, guys. I'm going to get to all your super chats before Rachel and I start our list. So just hang tight. Keep sending them in. I'm going to get to all of them in the order that they came. All right. Promise you that. We got a channel anniversary here from my panelist, Rachel. Look at there for 3 months now. All right, Rachel. Love being a Craven Knight.
Yes, I
Yes.
do.
Oh, Rachel, thank you so much for your support
Of
like that.
course.
I appreciate that every month, and your friendship. I appreciate everything. Yep. Who else do we have? Ryan is here. All right. What's up, Ryan? In the house. Good deal. Connie's here. Hey, Connie, what's going on? Always good to see you. All right. Denisha. What is up, Denisha? It's been a while. All right. Glad you're here, Denisha. All right. Anybody else? Let me just jamming through here. Oh, Kevin, Scott, rather. Sorry, Scott. Scott Lauderdale in the house. What's up, Scott? All right. And Bobby's breakdowns. My boy Bobby, what's up, bro? Good to see you here, man. All right, all right. I think that's about caught up. Let's see. Alex is here. What's up, Alex? 1988-1. Always good to see you. All right. And Gene, what's up, Gene? Gene saying hi to Rachel and I.
Hey, Jean, good to see you.
Yes, great to see you there. And DJ plays favorites. What's up, DJ? And Oliver's here. Hey, Oliver. Oliver Harding is here. All right. Okay. I think I've caught up now. Yep, I'm caught up. Okay, so now I'm going to get to everyone's super chats and anniversaries. All right, so we've done that one. And Bobby's breakdown. Speaking of Bobby, sending in a $5 super chat. Bobby, thank you, sir, for your super chat and helping to support the channel. My man Craven, hope you're doing good. Thanks, bro. You too, man. And is the answer Scream 96 cheating? Well, no, it wouldn't. I don't think it's cheating. Do you, Rachel? That's not cheating.
No, not cheating. No.
No, you're okay. No, that's all right, bro. That's not a cheating. No. But that's funny. But yeah, bro, good to see you, man. Glad you're here, and thank you for the super chat, man. That's awesome. And we have an anniversary of Jerry Wilson.
Oh, congrats. That's awesome.
All right, that is awesome. Thankful to be a Cravenite. Love you, brother. Oh, Jerry, the same back to you, buddy. Seriously. 14 months, man. 14 months. You've got your gold skull. And now as you get closer to 24, you'll get the platinum skull. So
nice.
Yes. Jerry, thank you for 14 months of support and your faithfulness every month as a channel member and as an amazing part of this community, Jerry. Really. You're amazing, brother, and I thank you. And speaking of memberships, hey, Connie has renewed her membership. Connie is on board as a Cravenite. All right. Good to have you.
Connie.
Yes. Wonderful. Thanks, Connie. I appreciate that. Good to have you back in the inner circle of the cult of Craven. It's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. What else do we got here? Oh, wow. Alex sending in a $20 super chat.
Awesome, Alex. That's
amazing. That is awesome. It is. Thank you so much. That really, really helps the channel, bro. Says, I was dismayed to hear Mark and Kay was written out of 7. It's as if Spyglass is on a mission to ruin this movie. I take no joy in saying this, but we should prepare ourselves for Stumacher to not return. Oh, Alex, I don't know, man. You know, I will say this. The fact, you know, I know this stream is about something else, but to answer your amazing super chat, I will say, Rachel, I'll get your opinion, but I was extremely disappointed that they could not come to an agreement with Patrick Dempsey. I don't know what the deal was. If it was money, if it was scheduling, I don't know. We don't know any of that right now. But we know this, that they were talking. He said they were in talks. He was waiting for a script
Yeah.
and all that.
Mhm.
So, I mean, not having him as Mark Kincaid, I was so looking forward to Mark Kincaid back with Sydney, and just the whole nostalgia feeling of Scream 3, seeing him back. And that's all been taken away now. He's not in the movie at all. And so Alex, I know that I share in the disappointment. I know I won't lie, I'm very disappointed. I talk about it in my video. You guys need to check it out. Um, it's always best to prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
Mhm.
So when it comes to Stu Macher, yeah, we probably should prepare for the worst, that he may not be in this movie, but I hope with every fiber in my being that they do it. They bring him back. They cash in on all the clues and breadcrumbs they've given us for 2 movies in a row that Stu is alive. They're all over the place. We could sit here and have a whole stream talking about that. So I hope they'll cash in and make it happen. And I'm not going to give up hope, Rachel, on my Stu. I know you're not on the Stu train, but I am not going to give up hope. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this Alex's comments?
Yeah, no, I was quite disappointed to find out that they weren't able to reach an agreement with Patrick Dempsey, and now I'm wondering, like, how they're going to retool the story. Like, is this guy just going to be recast
Hmm.
as Mark Kincaid, which I've got to say I
No,
don't love the idea of? No, okay, so
no.
he is a different character.
It's Mark
Okay.
Evans. Mark Evans is his
Okay.
name.
Well, that was my other thing. I was like, look, they obviously gave her husband the name Mark in Scream 6 so that we would all go, oh, it's Mark Kincaid. But
Yep.
Mark is a very common name. So obviously they will work that around and this will have been Sydney's husband from
Right.
whenever. And that's fine. But I would have liked to see Patrick. I think it would have been a really nice piece of continuity. I thought that, we could have seen how he and Nev work together now that they're a bit older and their characters would have been a little bit more established. So it is a bit of a disappointment. But, we can always hold out hope and see what they end up doing. Maybe they'll give her a really lovely husband that we all like. That would be really nice to see Sydney get a decent love interest. As for Stu, well, we all know I'm not on board the Stu train. However, that doesn't mean that I don't want it to happen because I know so many people are so excited. And if they do it and they do it well, then I
Right.
will I'll be very humble about it and I will very much admit that I was wrong and say congratulations to everyone and let everyone say I told you so.
That's awesome. Good points. Yeah, it's just it's well, the other thing that makes it disappointing, because I know this is different people now, obviously, but a couple of years ago, Radio Silence, in an interview, they confirmed that Mark is Mark Kincaid from Scream 3.
Gosh,
So
yes.
back when they were running it, they
Yeah,
actually said that. They said it is Mark Kincaid.
it is.
And I think that's part of the why there's so much disappointment, is because
Yeah.
they said it is Mark Kincaid. So we're like, oh, it's going to be Dempsey.
Yes, of
And
course.
of course. And so they ended up hiring Joel McHale to play the role. So
Mm.
anyway, guys, check out the video in the chat if you haven't seen it after the stream. I share a lot of my thoughts, and I think that, and I want to hear your thoughts after you in the comments section. Alex, thank you, my friend, for your super chat. That's so generous of you, my friend. And let me play a clip here for Alex. That's a big one. And you know what? Hey, man, look. Here's the deal. Even though I know we need to prepare for the worst, you know what, guys? I want to hear from Matthew Lillard, because I want to get pumped up. So here we go. Matthew Lillard talking about whether Stu is alive or dead. Let's see what he has to say. Here we go. Here we go. That's what I needed, Rachel.
He's so great. We'll go through a TV on my head right now to prove you wrong, Skeet. It's so
That's
good.
right.
That's
All right.
dedication.
It's dedication, man. He's passionate about what he believes in, and I love it.
Yes.
And speaking of a passion, Oliver coming in with a 22-month anniversary. Oh my gosh, Oliver. He says,
Awesome.
yeehaw. Oliver, thank you so much, bro. That is you're 2 months away from your platinum skull that you get at 2 years. That is amazing. And it means so much to me. I mean, the fact that members like you and a few others that have been members for that length of time, it's very moving. It's touching because it really, it really just affirms kind of that what you're doing is appreciated and that people enjoy the content, and and it just means a lot. So thank you. And you're helping the channel every month by being a member. So it means a whole lot. Thank you, Oliver. Congratulations, man. Wow.
Awesome, Oliver. Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, we got Bobby's breakdowns. What's up, Bobby? Coming in with another super chat, a $10 super chat. All right. Thank you. Much appreciated, brother. It says, also, I might be in the minority here, but I love Joel McHale. And I really need that man as Ghostface. You never know, man. Don't hate Dempsey, but never imagine McHale being in Scream. So I'm actually legit hyped. I get that. Now, Rachel, I don't know how you feel about Joel McHale, but I've watched many of his shows, and I actually really do like Joel McHale. If he'd have been any other character than Sydney's husband, I would be through the roof ecstatic. But I have to accept that Dempsey's gone, right? We all have to accept it, guys.
We do, yes.
We
yes,
have
we
to.
do.
And it's kind of raw right now because we just heard about it today. So
Yeah.
it's still fresh. But the fact is, we have to accept it. We gotta stay positive. We gotta hold 1 second, guys. Oh, okay.
Good.
So yeah, we gotta accept it, and we gotta just make the best we can of it, right? But having said that, I'm much happier that it's like Joel McHale versus someone we don't know, and
Fair enough.
perhaps. I mean, yeah, that's. What do you think about Joel? Do you like Joel McHale in general, or?
Having a look at his roster, and I'm not sure that I've actually really seen him in anything, so I
Okay.
can't really judge. But I'm
Okay.
kind of like, with the rest, it's like I'm just a little sore that we're not getting Patrick back, and I think we all, like you said, we all got very attached to the idea of him coming
Yes.
back. So it's just more like trying to figure out, okay, so Sydney's got a different husband, and
Yeah.
we're now going to have to wait and see how they work that out. So yeah, as far as the
That's
actor
right.
goes, I'm willing to give him a chance. But yeah, I'm a little salty that we're not getting McDreamy back.
For sure. No, absolutely. I'm 100% on board with what you're saying, and it's going to sting for a little while. It's going to
Yeah.
sting for a little while for sure. Bobby, man, that beautiful shade of yellow looks like some great spicy mustard. So, you know what? I think it's time that we play our spicy mustard clip for your super chat and your support. So here we go, guys. This is spicy mustard time.
Do you feel the hunger tonight? Are you a little hungry? I wanna be a hot dog tonight. I'm a hot dog. If you wanna take a bite, I'm a hot dog. If you wanna dip me in spicy mustard, then you can, because I'm a hot dog. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, so
Awesome.
good. And I see
So
some
good.
spicy mustards in the chat.
How great. I love it. Love the
Yeah.
emojis. That's awesome. And Bobby also coming in. Look at this, guys. 31 months.
Wow. That
Amazing,
is
Bobby.
awesome.
Almost 3 years strong. That's right, dude. Thank you so much, bro. Man, I've known Bobby a long time, and he's been such a
Awesome.
faithful member here at the channel, supporting every single month. And Bobby, thanks, bro. I really appreciate it, man. Seriously, it means a lot. So thank you, my man. All right. Woohoo. Couple of more things we want to cover here, and then Rachel, we're going to get into our topic.
Yep.
Um,
hmm
First of all, hey, look here. Jeff's Hill has gifted 5 memberships.
That is awesome. That's so
Dude,
generous.
isn't
Yay
that
for Jeff.
amazing? Oh my
hmm
gosh. It's so incredible. Thank you for that, Jeff Hill. You're awesome, bro. And Jeff is always so generous and trying to support the channel and grow the community by doing the memberships, and it means so much. So Jeff, thank you, my friend. That is so amazing. I was trying to find out who got those memberships. Oh, yeah. I'm going through the chat on YouTube. I see all these stew emojis too, and the hot dog
Yes,
emoji.
I can see it. Looks like DJ plays favorites.
Ah,
Denisha, I shot him 6 times.
oh,
Sherry Wyatt and Destination Station.
what? Wow. Well, everyone, welcome back into the fold. Destin and Denisha. Welcome back, guys. Good to have you back as members. Be sure you thank Jeff, please, for the free month. That's so generous. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. And hey, look here. My good friend JT is 23 months as a channel member.
Awesome.
Whoa. He says, hey, or is it, hey, something. That's my best
Could
impersonation.
be either.
23 months, baby. Yeah. Next month, you get your platinum skull next month, JT. That's so awesome. Thank you,
Mhm.
brother, because every month for being so faithful to the channel and helping me to help continue to grow the channel. Thank you, bro. Means the world. And hey, we have a channel member upgrade, guys.
Awesome.
Oliver has upgraded his membership to the director's cut level,
Awesome.
which is like my 3rd level. That's amazing, Oliver. Thank you, man, for upgrading your membership level. That is so awesome. Much appreciated, bro. Wow. Fantastic. And guys, listen, you can do it the same thing. If you're currently a channel member, you can upgrade to another level by going to your perks. It says perks. You just click that perks button and you'll see the other levels, just like Oliver did, and you can move up. Yep, you sure can. Oliver, thank you, bro. That's very kind and generous of you, my friend. Okay. And I'm happy to say too that JT over at Made Out of Resin, he finally got his work schedule shifted so that he has nighttime for free now. He used to work nights, and so
Awesome.
I told JT the other day. I said, definitely gonna get him on here in the week on some of these
Mhm.
evenings. So I'm really excited about that. Destin's here. Hey, Destin, what's up, brother? All right, man. He says this has been a crazy day. Oh yeah,
Yes, it
big
has.
time. Honestly, I'm like, I for a second I contemplated like moving this stream to next week and just talking the Scream 7 because
Yeah.
it's so much going on,
Mhm.
But listen, like I say, I'll tell you, I'll put it this way to the chat. Rachel and I are going to be focused here now. We're about to shift gears to our top 10 introductory horror movies. But if you have a burning Scream question or comment or a burning theory, if you send in a super chat to the channel for support, we'll address it. All right, I will say it that way. That's otherwise if we address everyone's comments on Scream, we'll never get to our lists because we all have so many questions.
Could be here till tomorrow.
Good, easily. So yeah, man. So if you send a super chat, we will talk about it. Otherwise, we're gonna shift gears and start focusing on our top 10. My good buddy Mike is here. What's up, Carbonite Jedi? Hey. Yes, there is a Scream 7. Duh. Oh, dude. Okay. All right. So Rachel, here's what I've done. I have 10 movies. Look at Jeff. Give me a 2-day stream. Oh, it's awesome.
One day, Jeff, maybe one.
Maybe one day for some crazy way we pull off something like that. But thank you, Jeff. That's very kind to know you would be here for the whole time. Okay. So what I'm doing, Rachel, sorry here, just gotta get something in your eye. I have 10 movies, and Rachel has 10 movies. Now I did not do mine in order of any specific order.
Me either.
Okay, so like if Rachel and I start with one, that doesn't mean it's number 1 or number 10. These are just they're all great introductory movies. Doesn't matter what order you put them in. Okay, having said that, Rachel, here we go. Top 10 introductory movies that we would recommend for new people to the genre of horror. Rachel, I'm going to let you go first. What is the one on your list?
Okay, so similar to Stephen, mine aren't in any sort of orders. This is just basically how they came into my head, and I just wrote them down. So the first one I'm going with is a very classic slasher. It's been called the Cadillac of slashers. And if you know me and you know my movie taste and you know what my favorite slashers are, you'll probably guess what this one is. My first up on the list is Halloween from 1978. I think that this movie is a fantastic way to introduce someone to particularly the slasher genre, and particularly if you have someone who might be a little scared of gore or maybe, over the top violence, because the violence in Halloween 78 is very clean and not at all that gory. But obviously, with Halloween 78, you get that great feel for, well, first of all, 70s horror. You get that great feel for slashers, for the stalker type. Michael Myers is obviously a fantastic villain, extremely, extremely scary. And I think what 78 really does, and why it's such a great gateway for early horror fans, is it shows you that a movie can be scary without being over the top. Because I do think a lot of new horror fans, they shy away from the genre because they usually just think it's all blood and guts and heads exploding and, geysers of blood coming out of beds. Whereas obviously, if you watch a lot of horror, you know that it can be very, very different and you can do so much with so little. And I think the 78 Halloween really emphasizes that minimalism horror that is a good gateway for people who don't want too much gore, don't want too much intensity, but still want to get a good scare and still want to feel that atmosphere. You get a great final girl in Laurie, so that's a great introduction to the final girl trope. And Carpenter is, of course, a fantastic director, and his direction on that is so clean and so effective. And I just think that it's intense enough to get the feel of what a horror film is like, but it's not so intense that you're going to be hiding under your bed for the rest of the night. So that's the first one on my list, Halloween from 1978.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and say right now that I also have Halloween 78 as one of mine as well. And for
Very
all the
nice.
points that you brought up, I mean, absolutely. There's hardly any blood at all in that movie.
No.
At all. That movie is built on suspense
Yes.
and the tension of that, and it's a slow burn that ends, and just this suspense builds and builds and builds and builds, and it was done masterfully. It's no doubt about it. Yeah. So I actually agree with you on that one. Halloween 78 is a great intro movie to get a feel for horror, and without going crazy.
Yes.
I love it. Real quick, Rachel, I'm a man of my word. I said super chats with Scream questions will get answered. And JT sending in a $5 super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says Mark and Sydney divorced equals motive for Mark as Ghostface in Scream 8. Wouldn't that be interesting, Rachel?
Yes. But that being said, I just want Sydney to be happy. I don't it's part of me is just like, don't do this to her again. Just let her be happy. So I can definitely understand where JT's coming from, but the part of me that loves Sydney is just like, oh no, don't do that to her again.
I know, but you know what? It would be pretty cool in one way because, especially because if Kincaid and Sydney got divorced before they had kids,
Mhm.
she remarries Mark Evans, has a family of at least 2 girls we know.
Yep, we do know. Yep.
And what if Mark Kincaid is so bitter about it that it kind of pushes him over the edge, like what JT's saying, and he
Mhm.
comes after them in 8, and I could already see the reveal, like at the 3rd act, and Sydney's there and he's unmasked and it's Patrick Dempsey. And it's like,
That would
you
be big.
have the family I deserve. That was supposed to be my family. He could all that stuff.
That could be
I mean,
really good.
it could be. I think it could be. It could be a lot of fun.
Mhm.
But I like the idea. I kind of actually like the idea. I know what you're saying, though. You hate to see Sydney traumatized by an ex-spouse, but at the same time, I think it might be cool if they
Could
do
be
it the
very
right way.
interesting. Mhm.
Yeah. JT, my friend, awesome, bro. Thank you. I think it's a good idea and appreciate the super chat, brother. Real quick, let's get the chat's reaction to Halloween. It's on both of our lists. And Scott says it's a masterclass in tension. Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's
Mhm.
all about the tension. Yes. See if anybody else had any comments on it. Jeff said 78's a good one. Psycho is another good one to start with.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Classic for a
It's a
reason. Yep.
classic and it's done well and
Mhm.
it's yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah,
Nope.
absolutely. And look here, Crafty Saver, welcome to the stream. He says Halloween 78 started my love. See,
That
there
is
you go.
completely understandable. Yep. Mhm.
It is. And that's another example of why it's a great introductory movie.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good to see you, Crafty. Well, glad you're here, man. All right. See. Okay. Well, let's keep moving then. Rachel, what is the next movie on your list?
This one is going to seem really obvious given the channel I'm on and the person I'm speaking to, but we both know how much we love this movie. My next one is Scream. And I'm not just putting this on the list because it's my favorite horror movie. I actually do think this is another really good opener for someone who wants to get into slashers. Now, Scream is obviously more violent than 78, but I mean,
Yeah.
even the violence in Scream, yes, it can be extreme, and some of the stuff we see is a bit over the top, but I think that Wes is so good at balancing the violence so that we get the shock of it without having to wallow around in it too much. Like, for example,
Mhm.
the opening scene when you see Drew Barrymore's boyfriend get gutted, you do see his guts falling out, but it's literally for 2 seconds. So it's like
Right.
you get the impact and then we move on. Again,
Mhm.
similar to Carpenter, we both talk about this. Craven he is a master at tension. I mean, I could write
Yep.
whole essays on just that opening scene alone.
Mhm.
But I also
That's
think
right.
Scream is a great gateway because it is a meta movie and because it has so many references to other movies, it then could get someone very interested. You know, they'll hear the Halloween reference, or they'll hear about the werewolf movie with E.T.'s mom in it, or they'll hear a reference from Psycho and they'll think, because that's kind of what I did. Scream was one of the earlier horror movies I watched, and I heard all these references and I went, I want to know what these references mean. And so I went and watched more. And I think Scream is a great example that slashers don't have to be brain dead. I mean, obviously, we all love a good brain dead slasher where you hate all the characters, you want them all to die. But I think it's important to show that slashers don't have to be brain dead, that you can have great
Mhm.
characters. You've got, aside from Sydney, you've got Tatum, you've got
Oh,
Randy,
yeah.
Billy and Stu are my two favorite ghost faces ever, so
Yes.
all around, I mean, it's my favorite horror movie for a reason. It's in my top 10 favorite movies for a reason. And I
Mhm.
think that there is just enough violence and gore to introduce you to it, but without going like full, Rob Zombie or something like that. So maybe
Yeah.
a little bit biased to have it in there, but I had to put it on here. So definitely Scream, I think, is a great gateway slasher.
Yes. And it's on my list too. You need to knock this off, Rachel. You need to stop
I know,
copying my list,
yes, I
okay?
know. Oh
Uh,
dear, I've been
no,
ferrying around inside your brain.
you have been. You've been up in here like, oh, he's gonna say that. Okay. Um, no, I agree. Scream is and and by the way, I just so you guys know, and I think you guys already do know. We talked about Halloween '78. That's a masterpiece. We're talking about Scream. That's a masterpiece from Wes Craven. Because we're saying introductory, we're not belittling or in any way taking away from these movies. As we're not, we're not saying they're like training wheels. These
No,
are
no,
legit horror movies, okay? Like big time. I mean, we just gave you guys our opinion, two masterpieces, and so I just wanted to clarify that in case anyone was misunderstood that or anything like that. But
yeah,
yeah, Scream for me as well because of all the things you said. It has everything someone new could really enjoy. I mean, like I say, it's got a little bit of humor, but not too
hmm
much. There's zero cheese. There's no cheesy in this
agreed,
movie at all.
agreed. Hmm.
Yeah, everything lands. It just lands perfectly. But you do have that, you have a little bit of humor, which kind of lightens it a minute.
Hmm.
But and the characters really, I mean, like Dewey and Gail. I mean, it's so character driven, Rachel. It's
Yes, it
so character
really
driven,
is. Hmm.
and that's not common in a slasher.
No, no,
It's
definitely not.
no,
Especially because
no.
you usually don't have characters hang around long enough to get development, and that's one of the things I do love, especially about the original trilogy, is Gale, Sydney, and Dewey getting those great
Yeah,
character arcs and
so
development,
good.
and seeing them grow so much. Yeah, no, it's a great aspect of those films.
Yes, definitely. And I think people that will watch that for the first time will be blown. Most people, I won't say all, but most people will be blown away, I think, when they see that. And so, anyway, Scream '96, a must-see movie for anybody, in my opinion, that has any
Absolutely.
interest in horror. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Drew? Drew's joined the stream. Well, good to see you, buddy. Glad you're here. And Nathaniel's here as well. All right, guys, don't forget, you can send in your super chat questions for Scream 7. If you have any you'd like to talk about, we'll answer them. Also, if you have a movie that you recommend for introductory, put it in the chat, or if you want to make sure we get to it, because there's a lot of folks here and a lot of volume, you can always send a super chat. We'll get to it as guaranteed. So either way, let us know what you guys think would be some good choices. King Matthew says, I know what you did last summer is another great choice. Okay, yeah, I could see that. Okay. Scott says, not really a fan of the Scream franchise, but the first film was a great movie. Definitely a great horror movie. Yeah, 100%. It is. It's fantastic. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go first this time so that I'm tired of being copied. So I'm going first.
Okay. That's fair.
All right. Here's one that I think is a fun introductory movie to horror. It hits the horror buttons, but it also is so unique and different and fun. I use the word fun. And it's Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in
Yes,
the
that is a
Woods.
nice pick. Hmm.
That
Very
one
good.
to me, Rachel, it's so different, and but you don't know that, as you know, at first. You don't know. But the way it rolls out and the way it plays out, I think it's just a fun movie. And the way it ends, that bat blank crazy ending
Hmm.
is amazing. And I think if you're interested in horror, you will go crazy over that whole ending sequences that goes on. So I won't spoil anything. I know it's an old movie, but just in case, for me, Cabin in the Woods is definitely on my list to bring people in. Yeah.
That's a great pick. Not on my list, so you're
Okay.
obviously more original than I am. You don't copy the way I do. So
I know. Oh, that was just luck.
But no,
Well, good.
I was a huge like Buffy and Angel fan back in the day. So this was Joss Whedon produced, and it was written and directed by one of the writers from Buffy and the Buffyverse as well. So yes, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, this is so subversive, and I love the way again that it sends up horror tropes, and it's a good introduction for
Yeah.
someone to see kind of like the range of horror that's out there. Great cast as well. I love the guys behind the scenes in like the control rooms. It's so great, and like you
Yes,
said,
they're
without giving too much away, it is a fantastic ending that really does surprise you and subvert your expectations. So yeah, no, that's
yes.
a great pick. Really like that one.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, it's such a fun movie. Um, all right, let's see in the chat if we got anybody else. Let's see. Scott Lauderdale says I recommend Monster Squad. Okay. All right. Drew says the Blade franchise, Underworld movies. Okay. Jeff recommends Misery as a good movie to start with. Ooh.
Yeah, actually.
Ooh. Man, that movie is so intense. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes, very claustrophobic feel that
very
movie. Very,
claustrophobic.
very trapped. Poor James Caan. It just.
I know, my gosh.
Mhm.
All
Yep.
I can say is Sledgehammer, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it there.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Penguin. I was the Penguin. If you know, you know.
You know. That's right. Nathaniel says, great show so far. Well, thanks,
Aw,
Nathaniel.
thanks, Nathaniel.
We
We
appreciate
try.
encouragement. We like to know you're enjoying it. Thank you, man.
Yes.
Okay, Rachel, your turn. What's up on your with that? We've got 7 to go.
Well, I'm moving now into ghost story territory, and I'm going with a movie that I saw. Again, this was one that I saw very early, one of my first horrors, still one of my favorite ghost story movies ever. I saw this one at the cinema. It was amazing, and that is The Others from 2001, starring Nicole
Ooh,
Kidman.
that was so
This
good.
Oh, so good. I mean, if you like ghost stories and you want a good old-fashioned slow build ghost story,
Hmm.
this is for you. Again, I went with this pick because I feel like it's not too over the top. There's no gore in
Yeah,
this. There's nothing too extreme, but the tension in this movie, that feel of the mother with her 2 kids in the house and they don't know what's going on. They don't know who these other people are. There are so many scenes in this movie that are so tense and so well done. And I think this is one of Nicole's best early roles from this
yeah,
kind of era of her filmography. I think she was so good in this. And don't want to give too much away, but this is another movie that has one of those endings that just makes you go, wow, oh my goodness. And like I said, I saw this in the cinema. I think the cinematography of this movie is beautiful because, you know, it's set in this really remote house during World War II. This family is completely cut off. You've got these beautiful moors with like fog and like all this atmospheric weather. The 2 kids in it, I think, are actually really good. And you know, kids in any film can always be a bit of a gamble, but I think that these 2 kids were fantastic. And I think it's just, yeah, it's a great introduction for someone who wants to experience a ghost story and a slow burn haunting. And it is very creepy. I think this movie, like, it
yes.
really genuinely scared me when I first saw it. And I remember it just stuck with me for days after. So I think if you're looking for like a
Hmm.
gateway ghost story and something a little bit more modern, I think this is a great one to go with. So that's The Others from 2001.
Yeah, very good choice. That was a great movie. And yeah, I've actually kind of been wanting to watch it again because I saw it in theaters as well. And yeah, I'm not going to say anything on this one other than it was when I walked out of there saying, wow, like, wow. So I'll
Yeah,
leave it there.
definitely.
Yeah. Nathaniel said it was amazing as well. Yep, it
Yes,
was.
agree. Hmm.
Destin says Poltergeist is a great entry horror movie. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah. Oliver says, and he thinks Insidious is a good start. Ooh.
Insidious is not bad. I do like
Yeah.
Insidious. Mm.
Yeah. That's a good one. Let's see. Matthew recommends the Rob Zombie 1,000 Corpses ending with 3 from Hell and the Devil's Rejects. Oh man.
I'm not sure if you want to throw a new horror fan into Rob
Yeah.
Zombie. Like you have to kind of
That's
ease them in, and I think
yeah,
Zombie is a little too extreme. Like just work your way up, start
I think
mild
so.
and yes, go and then eventually if you want to introduce them to Zombie. But no, you don't throw someone in the deep end with Rob Zombie. That's
That's right.
that's bad.
Yeah, that would be and that may make them never watch horror again.
I think so, yes.
But I like the thinking there, King Matthew, but I don't know if that works introductory though.
Maybe intermediate horror.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then real quick, Drew says Night of the Living Dead never fails for entry zombie flicks. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then of course Jeff says Fright Night. Oh, of course that's a great one.
Yes.
And it's not too there's nothing too scary.
No, I don't think it's too intense. Not the original Fright
Not
Night.
too intense. The original one from the 80s. Yeah. Julie. I don't think I
Me either,
survived.
Julie.
I'm with you, Julie. I can't. Zombies just not my style. I can't. I
Yeah,
don't
he's a
like
little
his
too much
stuff.
for me now as like a hardened
Yeah,
horror fan. So he has his own brand zombie. We'll just leave it at that.
exactly. He has his own brand, and he does it well
He
for what it
does, but
is.
it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone, and I'm one of those everyones.
Me too.
Just- hey, Jeff sending in a $5 super chat. Thank you,
Awesome.
Jeff. Oh, the stepfather.
Oh, Carrie O'Quinn, so good. That is a
Yeah.
good one. And that being said, the opening scene of that's a bit of a shocker. And for a new horror fan, that might be a little intense. Although we hope you're talking about the original, Jeff, because if you're talking about the remake, we might have to have words.
I think we're going with the original.
Yes, I think so.
I think Jeff is too. That's a good one, Jeff. That is a real
Yes,
good one.
it
I
is.
wouldn't mind seeing that again soon. Every time sometimes I see these movies and I think about movies, I'm like, I really want to watch that. Oh, I really want to watch that again.
Mhm.
And of course, it usually never happens, but it's
Too
a
many
thought.
movies, too little time.
It is. It is
Yes.
exactly right. Well, Jeff, thank you, my friend, for the super chat. That's so
Mhm.
generous of you. And for Jeff, we're going to play a clip here. And Rachel, work safety is
Very important.
It's very important. And this clip is just a reminder of how important it is to be focused on your job. Here we go.
When Freddie Jones discovered the key in the switch, he decided to go for a joyride and quickly lost control, crashing into the break room wall.
Oh my gosh, Fred, is he okay?
No, he's not okay. He's dying.
Yeah,
I saw your face like, oh,
love these clips. They're so good. You never know what to expect. Brilliant.
And listen, just to let you guys know, everybody know, I've got about 5 or 6 new super chat clips I'm working on.
Awesome.
So yeah, one of these streams coming up here very soon will be some new super chat clips that I can't wait to play for everybody. Give me 1 second here. Just want to make sure I got this here. There we go. Okay. All right. So the others, that's a great one. That's a great one. So let's go now. Is it my turn? Is it right?
Back to you.
Okay. Now here's another one that is a classic, but it's not, and it will jump scare you like crazy, but it's not too over the top, violent, gore, all those things. I think, and this is a horror masterpiece classic, and it's Jaws, the original Jaws.
Very nice. That's a good
I think
pick.
it's a nice way to get the feel for what horror is, and even though it's a shark, it's still horror. It's still scary, and
Oh yeah.
And I think just as kind of bringing you in an entry level, let's get with Jaws and see if you like the feel of this, and certainly any jump. There's a lot of jump scares in that movie with that shark, so it
Very
gives you it
good
gives you
old
a chance.
Bruce.
Yeah. So for me, Jaws is my next pick, and I think that it represents a decade too, like that, like the 70s, because it was in the late 70s, I believe, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was before 1980, and those movies around there, like Halloween, Jaws, great movies. Well, I mean, those are like considered among the best of all time in horror.
Mhm.
Now there are some that I would not recommend, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, no,
There's no
or The
way I'm
Exorcist.
recommending
Like,
that. The
no, don't
Exorcist,
drop someone into
no.
that.
No. Last House on the Left, Wes
Oh,
Craven's
no,
first
that
film, that would end
no.
somebody's horror journey easily.
100%.
Yes. Um, let's see what the chat says. Jeff says Jaws is a great horror movie to start with. Yeah, thank you, brother. I think it is too.
It is.
Um, he said, to this day, I won't go in the ocean. Wow.
That's
That makes
understandable.
that it
Mhm.
is. Scott says Jaws is pretty much required viewing at this point. I think so too, and for good reasons. Paula says, I don't swim in oceans anymore, so great choice. That's right. Oh, that's good. I think we need a bigger boat. Yeah, that's right. That's a legendary quote.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Rachel, let's keep moving. What's your next pick?
Well, my next one is another 70s movie. The 70s was such a great decade for
Yeah.
horror, just absolutely fantastic. And this is another classic that I think is, again, a little bit milder, but still introduces you to horror really well, and that is Carrie, the original Carrie. Um,
Ooh.
yes, and I think that Carrie is also such a great intro to Stephen King. Obviously, it was his first novel, this was the first movie, and I think you see a lot of themes that pop up in King's later work of isolation and being an outsider, what it means to have that kind of outsider status, and the monster actually being other people in the town as opposed to the clown, or the monster under
Yeah.
the bed. I think Carrie herself is such a sympathetic character, and I think to have a movie
Yep.
that is technically from the villain, I say in air quotes, the villain's point of view, is really
Mhm.
interesting. Palmer's direction on that movie is so good. I just
Yeah.
think he builds so much sympathy for character, for Carrie as a character rather. And then of course Margaret White is an insane character, and Piper is just she's having the best time playing her, Piper Laurie. And I just think that again, because Carrie is much milder, the horror actually mostly comes from the other kids. It comes
It
from
does.
Chris and from Sue and from like all of the bullies. And then you have that
Mhm.
great, again, it's a slow build. And I think when you're getting into
Yep.
horror, slow builds can be a good way to go because they ease you in and you're not immediately getting thrown in, some guy chasing you with a chainsaw or coming after you with a claw in your dreams. This one's a little bit of an ease in. But then I think the Black Prom is one of my favorite sequences in any horror movie. I think De Palma does that scene so
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
Sissy Spacek and her cold fury is so chilling, and I think all of that, it gives you a really good intro to King's world and how his monsters are different to other monsters, and they're deeper, and they're usually allegories and metaphors, and like I just love Stephen King's world, and I think that Carrie is a great entryway to Stephen King and a great entryway to horror, because it just shows you something a little bit different. And again, I think a lot of non-horror fans can be a bit dismissive of the genre. They think, oh, it's just blood and guts and dumb guys killing dumb kids. And it's like, I think when you're introducing someone to horror, you need to show them that horror can be more than that. It can be commentary and it can show you different sides of society. And I think that Carrie does that really well without going too cerebral, like something like, more modern, like Midsommar or Hereditary. This is like elevated horror before it was elevated horror, when we just said it was just a good story. So Carrie from 1976 I think should be on every
Yeah.
first intro to horror lists.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It almost made my list. I was
So
like that
honorable mention
close.
for you.
Honorable mention for me for sure.
Nice.
Yes, indeed. So, hey, Rachel, would you do me a big favor?
Mhm,
I need about a minute or so, or a minute to
mhm,
2 minutes. It's not going to be very long. Would you mind
absolutely.
checking out the chat and maybe
Yeah,
addressing some of their
yeah.
ideas as
Not
well?
a problem.
And I will be right back very, very
No
soon.
worries. All
Thank you, my
right,
friend.
guys, let's see who's saying what. All right. I've seen a few people say Children of the Corn, which I kind of get. Children of the Corn is not bad, but it's also a little slow when you think about it. Like yeah, I think it's got a great opening, but then after that it kind of dr- you know slides off. Tales from the Crypt is good. Pet Cemetery is definitely a good one. I think again, as an intro to Stephen King, Pet Cemetery is really good. Especially creepy kids, and you want an intro to like that kind of creepy kid thing. Oh, Jurassic Park. Destination, that is actually really cool because I've always kind of said that Jurassic Park is like it's a hidden horror movie. You go to see it and you think it's like this great Spielberg film, and it's everything's happy, and then the scenes with the actual dinosaurs, like the T-Rex scene. I remember seeing that when I was 10, and it absolutely scared the crap out of me. I mean, logically, I knew dinosaurs weren't real, but every single bump sounded like the T-Rex's like feet coming towards me. So I definitely think I think Jurassic Park would be really good for kids if you want to introduce kids to horror because I'm a big champion of introducing kids to horror early. I was a Goosebumps kid, so I think you need that. Hey, Steven's back. I was just talking about someone said Jurassic Park, and I was like, that's actually a
Oh,
great pick
yeah.
because it's kind of a stealth horror. You
It
go
is.
expecting family fun, and then oh no, T-Rexes and raptors, and like some of those
Right.
scenes. And again, Spielberg, we saw that in Jaws. He knows how to do the tension
Oh,
really
yes.
well, and so I think Jurassic Park was a great thing. And then I just segued into thinking that I think kids should be introduced to horror because they need to learn how to handle
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great in kids old, like, you're not like 6 years old, but I'm talking about,
No.
little older kids. But that
Yeah.
is a great one for the younger kids to get
Younger.
introduced to horror.
Absolutely.
That's really good
Mhm.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Definitely.
it's it's gonna make you scared, but it also it's gonna be okay, at the end of
Yes,
the
and it's still
day.
gonna be fun, and yes, you're not gonna be
Yes.
too scared by it. So yes, I mean, I grew up in the '90s, so I grew up with the
Yeah.
Goosebumps books, and the Are You Afraid of the Dark and everything. So I had a lot of horror as a kid.
Oh, man. Thank you, Rachel, for taking over there
No,
for me. I appreciate
no
that.
worries.
Um,
All
and
right,
real
I think we're
quick, I
back
know
to
we've
you. Oh,
seen
yep.
Oh, go ahead. What was that?
Oh, no, I was just gonna say I think we're back to you, but you wanted to have a look at some of the comments before your next pick.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was just jumping in over here taking I do wanna say we've seen a few folks say this, but and we touched on it, but Paula, is reminding us about Psycho, the original. I
Yeah.
think that is a great introductory movie.
Yes.
I mean, it's a friggin' masterpiece, just like these other, like Halloween,
Yeah.
others we
Mhm.
Scream. But it's
Yep.
a it's such a good movie. And
Norman
Norman
Bates'
Bates,
stare. Oh, it will haunt
and
your nightmares. Anthony
yes,
Perkins, so good. So,
perfect,
so good.
so good.
Mhm.
And honestly, you really need to watch the first Psycho. I was gonna say Psycho 2 is
I have never
so
seen
good.
Psycho 2, but yes, everyone
Oh my
says that it's a very
gosh.
underrated sequel. Everyone seems
Oh,
to say that, like, Perkins comes back and he's fantastic, so I definitely need to get around to seeing it.
yes.
Mhm.
Oh, Rachel, it's so good. That's all I'm gonna say. So good.
Watch party, Steven?
I'm actually thinking about that now that you mention it. Oh my gosh, where are we at here? Where are we at? Is it my turn to go? I can't remember.
Yes, yes, we're back to you.
Okay, back to me. All right. Now here's one that I'm going to recommend. It is another Wes Craven film, and it's The People Under the Stairs from
This is one
1991.
I shamefully have not seen yet, so I'm gonna have to put that on my
Oh
list.
my
Yeah, I
gosh.
know, I know, I know I'm a bad
No, it's okay.
Cravenite.
I'm with you. There's so many movies I haven't seen. You'd be doing this. You'd be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah." Trust me. Um, The People Under the Stairs, and I'm not going to give it because Rachel hasn't seen it, and some of you may have not seen it either. So I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just going to say that it's a great way to start into horror, to start getting a feeling of watching some unhinged people, put it that way, and taking advantage and being horrible to other people, and but yet at the end of the day, redemption is served. So
Ooh,
I think
intrigue.
yes, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it very vague. But it's really good Wes Craven film. I love his movies, and that one I could definitely recommend for someone who's just wanting to get into it. I would say go watch People Under the Stairs.
Okay, I guess I'll have to then.
Yes, that's right. You do. I insist upon it. Hey, real quick, we got an anniversary here. May Ann
Yay.
has joined the stream. Hey, May.
Oh, lovely Mayanne. She's always so great. She's always around and so supportive.
Always so much, and appreciate her so much. May Ann's been a member for 18 months now. Good grief.
Her membership can legally drink in Australia.
There you go. Man, thank you so much for your support. I did not realize it's been that long. My gosh, a year and a half. Time flies. Wow. Says, hello, Cravenites. Much love, everyone. All right, back to you, May. Yes. Thank you for your faithful support, May, and your amazing work here as one of my moderators, and just being a great friend to me and the community. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Okay, let's see if we got any comments on People Under the Stairs. Jeff said, great choice. All right. Paula's never seen Psycho 2 either. Oh my gosh.
Might have to organize that watch party, I think.
I think so. One of us needs to do it and host it. We do, seriously. Let's see. Okay, I think I've got caught up to everybody. Okay. All right, Rachel, what do you have next on your list?
Okay. So my next pick is actually a much more modern movie. And I've gone with this one because, again, this is one of those movies that shows different ways of making horror and how new technology can be used and how you don't always have to go all out. So then my next pick is actually a movie that Shudder produced. They made it during the pandemic, and it came out in 2020, and it's called Host. Have you seen this one, Stephen?
I don't think I've seen it. Nope.
Okay, so this one took a concept that had actually been done a few years before by a movie called Unfriended, where the entire movie takes place through a Skype call. So basically, Host is set, like I said, set during the pandemic. It was filmed on a really small budget, all with the actors just filming themselves on their own screens. All of the special effects you see were done by them. And it's a very simple premise of there's some friends, they're bored during the pandemic, so they decide to have a seance online, but one of them accidentally invites something into the call, and then the rest of the movie is watching them go through this Skype call while this thing is trying to get them. It's only about, I think, 70 minutes long. It's a very short, very well done, very clean, very tight movie. And like I said, I think it really shows how we can use new technology to make really interesting horror films. You don't always have to have big sets and big blood and everything and big name actors. Host really shows what you can do with a small setting, with a small group of actors, and it is genuinely creepy. I mean, I watched this more recently, and I'm at the stage now where, because I have watched so many horror films, I get a bit desensitized, but this one genuinely scared me. And it was just so effective. It's available on Shudder. I would highly recommend that everyone checks it out. And like I said, I think it's a really good gateway because it just shows you can do so much with so little, and how sometimes in the horror genre, it's about the minimalism, not the over the top. I mean, there's obviously place for both, but I do really like showing that minimalism can really work in this genre. So that's Host from 2020.
Ooh, okay. Actually, as you were describing it, I think I might have seen it. Remind me when we're backstage, and I'll ask you a few questions, then you can clarify if that's the one. I think it is. If it's the one I saw, it was very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if it's Host.
We'll confirm that.
We'll do that. Julie says Host is very good.
Yes.
And she says, OMG, Host watch party. I mean, we got so many watch parties to schedule. I mean, I mean,
I
the
might
list.
have to start scheduling some.
Me too.
Mhm.
King Matthew says, I don't know if TV shows count, but I have American Horror Story.
That's another one that I
Mm,
think is a little intense if you are a beginner, you
I
know?
think it is
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think even if you're not a beginner, American Horror Story can be a little intense. It was a little too much for me, but
Yeah.
it is well made. So I do understand people like recommending it, just maybe not for beginners.
Not for brand newbies. Yeah,
No.
I think so. Destin says host was cool. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Hmm. Awesome. Um, very good. Okay. Well, I'll keep moving. For me, now this is an old movie. This is like 1981, maybe in around 81, 82, somewhere in there. Maybe 83 is the latest. But I think it's a great introduction to horror. Again, it's early 80s, so it has a different feel than the modern horror film. But oh my god, sorry, Mike, Mac and me scared me.
Mike's having fun being a bit trolly.
Yes, that's all right, Mike. I love it.
You're a good dude, Mike.
No, but the one I want to mention is starring, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's called Prom Night. And that is
Very
you know what I mean? It's got a
Mhm.
great, it's a whodunit, number one.
Yes. Mhm.
So it's got the whodunit vibe. And, you know, there's some good kills. And it just, as the movie unfolds, and Jamie Lee Curtis is brilliant always.
Yes. Mhm.
So
Great dancer
wonderful.
too.
What's that?
Great dancer too. She's got a
Oh,
great dance
yes.
sequence in that movie.
That's true. I forgot about that. Um, and when you finally get to the end, which I will not spoil, but when you finally get to the end, you're kind of heartbroken.
Mhm.
So that's all I'm going to say. So I highly recommend Prom Night because the original is the one, not just the original.
Not the remake. The remake
No,
was
just
terrible.
please no,
No.
no,
I
just
saw the remake at the cinema. Oh, so
Oh,
bad.
did you?
Yeah.
I never watched it because I heard so much stuff about it. I didn't even
Oh,
watch
yeah, no,
it.
it's terrible.
Oh no, Julie says I'm
Oh,
terrible.
no, poor Julie.
I've only seen the remake.
Definitely check out the original. Steven's right. It's
Yes,
a great little whodunit. The opening is pretty intense, and
it
he's right. By the
is.
time you get to the ending, you're almost sad. But
Exactly.
I've always had a soft spot for Prom Night. I think it is good, and I think it's a good gateway because I will say 80s horror. I won't give away too much of what's on my list, but when I was thinking like, what's the best for horror, I remember thinking 80s horror is not the best gateway for people because 80s horror is very intense. If it's not bloody, then it's slimy. If it's not
Mhm.
slimy, then it's sleazy. It's Michael Ironside making people's heads explode on TV
Oh
and Johnny
gosh,
Depp drowning in a geyser of blood.
that's
It's
right.
it's not the best decade to introduce someone to horror. So I think you need to ease them into some 80s horror, but I think Prom Night is a good pick from there.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think it's a good way to get going. And of course, Destin's quoting our great friend
If
Randy.
they watch Prom Night, they'd save time.
Everybody's a suspect. That's it.
Love it. Love it.
That's good stuff.
Hmm.
All right, Rachel, I think you're up.
Okay, all right. We've got 5 now still to go. So mine is I've gone to the early 90s. Now it is a movie, but it was a made for TV movie. So it came out in 2 parts. So some people will call it a mini series, but this for me, I'm going to go with It from 1990. This
Okay.
was one of the very first horror movies I ever saw, and I was way too young to see it. I was like 7 or 8. I saw it at a
Oh,
sleepover, and I would not go near a storm drain for like 5 years after watching that movie because
I
it
bet.
scared me so much. Now, as an adult, obviously, you can see that it's much more toned down. But again, I think that It is another great intro to Stephen King's world. I think that the original It is a really good slow burn. Again, it really builds the characters very well. I think that
Mhm.
Tim Curry is just amazing as Pennywise. He is just so, so good. And I think that, again, because it doesn't have a lot of gore, it doesn't have a lot of violence, you
Yeah.
instead get introduced to that slow creeping feel. When you watch it, there's just that feeling of uneasiness, like something is very wrong in Derry. Something is
Yeah.
very wrong and something
Yes.
very bad is happening. And I think the fact that it is a two-part movie, again, it gives you a little bit more depth, a little bit more characterization.
Mhm.
We get to go really further with these characters. And I absolutely love in it the juxtaposition between the older characters and the younger characters and all the themes of memory and what happens to your memory, as you get
Mhm.
older and trauma that you experience as a child. So I think this one's a really good gateway one for people because it's not too intense, it's not too bloody, but it definitely is creepy enough to introduce you to, the genre and what it can do. And I mean, clowns are always scary. Always. I never liked clowns, even as a child. So I think this one's a really good one. I know that a lot of people prefer the remake. But I personally think that the original one captures more the spirit of the Stephen King book and captures
Mhm.
the feel and the tone of the novel because I actually really do love the novel as well. But yeah, so that's my next one. Like I said, technically a TV movie, but it is still a movie. So it's the original It from 1990.
Good choice. Good choice. That's not on my list, and that's what I love about this because, you and I started off like hitting matching movies, and now we're starting to see variances, which is great
Yes,
because
I love it.
different perspectives, see? And I think that that's what makes this so fun.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
awesome choice, says Mayanne.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Scott says Tim Curry alone makes that movie fantastic.
Mhm.
The epitome of nightmare fuel.
Oh, he really is. And what I love is, like, when you watch it as an adult, sometimes you'll be laughing at what he's doing, but as you're laughing, you're also feeling like, "Oh, this isn't right. I shouldn't be laughing at this. No, no, this is," and I
Right.
just love that he brings that feel to it because I think that Bill Skarsgård was good, but I think his Pennywise was too extreme. He was too, like, like you didn't believe that kids
Yeah.
would go to him. You'd believe that kids would approach Tim Curry. So yeah, I think he'll always be my favorite Pennywise.
Yeah. I agree. Yep. Good job. Good choice.
Thanks.
All right. Destin says The Gate from 1987 with the young Stephen Dorff was one of my favorites as a kid. Yeah,
Haven't
it
seen
has some
that
creepy
one.
stuff. It's in
Hmm.
I saw it recently. Well, I say recently, last year sometime. And it was like Destin says, it has some creepy stuff in it, but basically the gate is the opening to hell is
Oh
what's
dear.
and it's in some
Okay.
and this is they're in this like residential neighborhood suburbs
Mhm.
and it's like in somebody's backyard.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh
no.
yeah. Yes, somebody's
Oh, dear.
backyard. So
Oh,
it's
dear.
it's definitely it's definitely worth watching 100%.
Okay.
It's a fun movie. It is. All right. Excuse me. All right, I've got one more from the 80s, and then the rest of mine will be more current movies. But I have to do it. It is The Lost Boys from 1987.
Yes. Love
Yes,
me some
that
glittery vampires
isn't
in
it
chat.
great? And don't forget the oiled up saxophone player.
Of
I
course. How
still
could we forget?
believe. Oh
Oh,
yes.
he's so good with his sexy dance moves and his
Oh,
mullet. Oh, God, I love the
oh
Lost Boys.
yes.
Great choice.
Absolutely. The baby oil all over his chest and just letting it rip. But The Lost Boys is a great movie,
It
and
is.
it's something that someone who wants to get into the genre, it's not gonna be too scary for them,
No, no.
at all, and it's just and it's got such great cast members, as you know.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, my gosh, it's I just I'm thinking back to it now in my head, some of the scenes, it's just they're done so well with Corys, the 2
I
Corys.
love the 2 Corys. I love them being little vampire hunters. It's so good,
Yes,
especially since one of them has an older brother who's turning into a vampire.
I
So
know,
good.
exactly, it's so great, and
Mhm,
there is a little twist in the movie,
mhm,
as we know,
mhm.
a little twist there, which I thought was cool, And I love this scene where I think it's his older brother. I can't remember, but he's in his bedroom upstairs. Someone's in their bedroom, and the guy's starting to float across the window.
Why? Yeah, he's on the phone and he's like, "Get off the phone!" He's literally like flying around. Such a great scene.
I
So
just
good.
died laughing so hard every time I see that
Mhm.
scene.
Yep.
Yeah, the
So good.
Lost Boys. It's a must watch, I think, for anybody,
Mhm.
honestly, but especially what a great way to get started in horror. So, hey, check this out. So Lost Boys is my last '80s movie. I could have done more about it. I was like, no, I want to be more spread out, but it's a classic. It's an iconic film.
Mhm. It's a great pick. I love The Lost Boys. I think it's also a great intro to vampire films. Like, I am a huge vampire
Yeah.
fan. I love vampire movies, so
Do
that's a
you?
great intro.
Mhm.
And like I say, I always say, anytime someone complains about Twilight vampires sparkling, I'm like, dudes, The Lost Boys did it first. Have you seen the glitter that's coming out of Alex Winters in that movie? Okay, like, no,
Yes.
Twilight does not have the market cornered on sparkly vampires. But no, that is a great pick. I love The Lost Boys. It's fun. It's a great vampire movie. Like you said, it has a fun little twist. The cast is great. Diane Weist is great. Ed Herman is great. And
Oh,
Kiefer
yeah.
Sutherland, so
Oh,
good.
Keith Sutherland's
Yeah.
so
But
good.
I mean, we all know it's that saxophone player that makes the movie. I mean, without him, would it
100%.
even be worth it? It's
That's right. And
definitely him.
as Julie said, oiled up and mulleted up. That's exactly
Mhm.
right. That's right.
Yep.
Let's see. Mayanne liked the choice as well. So did Jeff. Just another good one, Craven. Lost Boys. Yeah, man.
Mhm.
Um, anybody? Destin says it's one of his favorite films of all time.
Horror
Yeah,
Goonies,
a
I love
horror
that. That is a
Goonies.
great way to describe it. It really is. It does have
Yeah,
a
it
similar
is.
feel, doesn't it?
It
Mm.
does actually. Paula says, "Love the Lost Boys." Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, King Matthew says, "Vampire in Brooklyn" with Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy. Another
Mhm.
Wes Craven movie. Yeah,
Yes. Mhm.
that's right. So Lost Boys is off my list now. All right, Rachel, let's see who do you got next?
All right, so this is the one movie that I do have from the 80s on my list. And actually, a few people mentioned this before when I was talking about the others, because this is another haunting film, and that is
Okay.
Poltergeist. Poltergeist from
Oh,
1982. Because again, I
yes.
really do think that this is a really great gateway film if you're looking for hauntings, you know? Spielberg produced, but Toby Hooper directed, and I think that that mix makes like a really, really good movie. So you've got like the family dynamics, which I think are really fun. And of course, I love, again, it's kind of like a slow build. We've got the voices and the TV and the kitchen, being able to slide little Carol Ann across the floor and she comes back like a magnet. And like, oh my God, that clown toy. Again, with the clowns, that clown toy
I'm telling
haunted
you.
my nightmares. Terrible. And the tree, that messed up tree outside the window. But again, I think Poltergeist, because it's not too extreme, it's a good gateway for people to start with. They get a good introduction to what, like, because hauntings are almost always family films. They are almost always about a family unit and a family unit either
Mhm.
breaking up or coming back together. And I think that Poltergeist really shows that. I think the family really come together really well. I love that the parents are so supportive. I love the mother, trying to get her daughter back. I just think it's a really great character study as well as a really great haunting. I think it has a fantastic climax that really brings everything together and, kind of builds and like everything that this poor family has experienced finally just kind of culminates to that big final showdown. And again, because it's a bit milder, it's got that Spielberg feel to it. So you do get a bit of the family friendly, feel good things to it. And I just think that of the 80s horror films, it is one of the better ones to introduce people to because it is milder, but it's also very creepy. The first time I watched
It
Poltergeist again,
is.
I found it very, very disturbing, very atmospheric, and very creepy. And I think Poltergeist, it brings the horror into a suburban setting. These could be your
Yep.
neighbors. This could be
That's
happening
right.
in the house next door to you. And that is really creepy and really adds to the
Very
atmosphere. So that's the 80s movie that I decided to go with, Poltergeist from 1982.
excellent choice. And of course, when I was a kid now, I was young when it came out. It creeped me out like crazy.
Yep.
I never will forget seeing her sit in front of the TV with a static, and I'm like, It just
And
scared me.
yep. Hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
And honestly, I haven't seen it since the early 80s.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen it as an adult now.
It is
So,
still really good as an adult. My sister and I watched it recently, and we really enjoyed it. And we were like, "There's a
okay.
reason that this has stayed a classic."
There you
They're
go.
here.
They're here. Oh man. And
I
that
know.
little and that little lady, the little lady with the
Yes, with the
glasses,
little boys and the tiny
she
little
creeped
boys.
me. She creeped me out just listening to her.
That's totally get that. Her voice was really creepy, and she was really odd looking, so I
I
totally get it.
I know. I was very unsettled with her.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess they got the job done. They were effective. Oh
Oh.
man. Let's see. Um, just looking at the chat real quick here. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, yes, love that
Yeah.
one. Absolutely gorgeous film.
Witches of Eastwick.
Ah, yeah.
The Craft.
Yes, The Craft. I do agree. The Craft is a great one. I love The Craft. And again, not too extreme, but definitely
Yep.
introduces you to horror in a nice way and very, very 90s.
Very. Tremors.
Oh,
Oh
yes, Tremors.
yeah.
Mhm.
Good old Tremors. That is a great one with Kevin Bacon. That was
Yeah.
good. That was good. All right. Well, we'll keep moving. My list now, we're down to our final three.
Mhm.
Final three guys. Now again, we're not ranking them. They're
No.
our final three movies though. I'm gonna go 90s now. And I'm gonna have to go with the Sixth Sense.
Very
And
nice. That one almost made my list, so
did
honorable
it
mention for me.
almost? Yep.
Yes, yes.
Honorable
Mhm.
mention for Rachel. That movie is to me a perfect entry movie because there's enough jump scares, there's enough just gross, weird, not gross necessarily, but creepy images that you see, and with the kid, I see dead people, right? And
I know.
I'm like, dude. But to me, this was probably, and this is an arguable statement because he's done so many movies, but I still probably believe, Rachel, that in my opinion, that Sixth Sense is still M. Night's best movie he ever did, his first one.
I agree. Yeah,
I think so.
100%. Absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah. I think he's done some other really good ones.
Mhm.
He's also done some that I think were just not good.
Yeah.
He's had a kind of, to me, an up and kind of it's been a
Yeah,
broad
he's
mix.
a very uneven filmmaker. Because he has some other
Yes.
ones I think are really brilliant, and then, yeah, there's been some that I've watched that I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing, man?"
Yeah.
Plus
What are you
plus
doing?
he wrecked Avatar: The Last Airbender, and therefore he gets no forgiveness for that.
Oh gosh. Well, yeah. And again, The Sixth Sense is one of those movies that you really don't want to talk much about yet because,
No, just
you
in
know,
case. Just in
just in
case.
case. Yeah. And I mean, think about it.
Because
If
you never
it's
know, someone
someone,
could have been living under a rock for the last 3 decades and might not know, so
that's true.
just in case.
Just in case. That's right. Um, so that's going to be my next movie choice. And Rachel, what do you have next?
So I really hope that Coriander is not watching because you just said The Sixth Sense, and my next pick is another one that she does not like from the 90s, and
Oh
that is
no.
The Blair Witch Project.
Oh, she'd be
Coriander,
turning
if
off the
you're
computer.
watching.
Yeah. Bye, Coriander.
Sorry. We love you, Coriander.
We love you.
But
Yeah.
look, again, I think The Blair Witch Project is one of those movies that really shows you how different horror can be and how you don't
True.
need a huge budget, you don't need over the top special effects. This was
No.
another movie that when I saw it, it scared the crap out of me. And almost nothing happens in the movie, and that's what I think is
Yeah.
amazing. It's all
Yeah.
about the atmosphere. It's all about what you don't see. There's that old saying of nothing is scarier than what you imagine. And I think that that movie really emphasizes that, and of course, it was such a landmark moment for horror, the Blair Witch Project. The
It
internet was
was.
in its very baby stages. So using the internet as their campaign, the fact that they hid the actors so that, they put up the missing actors posters and they made you believe that it was real found footage. It
Exactly.
obviously, yeah. And I mean, I know it wasn't the first found footage movie, but it really was the movie that brought that genre
Oh, yeah.
into like the mainstream and made everyone realize what a great genre it could be. And
100%.
again, I know it's not for everyone. And this is one that I think that I would only show certain people, like if I knew them really well. But I do still think it's a good one to show someone who might be curious about what horror can do differently. Someone who maybe doesn't want to watch like an over the top slasher or a ghost story,
Mhm.
like show them this. And I think you can really show them what people can do with horror. And again, I know we've talked about this a lot, but horror is always great for endings. The ending of the Blair Witch Project, the last 5 minutes of that
Oh
movie,
gosh.
oh my goodness, what a just pure nightmare fuel. Absolutely. I remember
Yes.
after finishing that movie, just sitting there, just going, wow, oh my God, like, oh, what just happened? So, sorry, Coriander, we love you, but definitely putting the Blair Witch Project on this list.
I think it fits there. I think it does. I mean, I remember going to the theater to watch it with my buddy
That's
Mike, or
awesome. That's
Carbonite
awesome.
Jedi. Actually, we went
Mhm.
together, and we both thought it was real. We saw the website, right? All that, how they did I mean, the website
Mhm.
was perfectly built, like
It
police
was, wasn't it?
footage, evidence, all
Mhm.
this stuff. And
Yeah.
we went saying, "Oh my gosh, they're going to share this footage to the public. They're trying to find these kids."
Mhm.
And so we thought we were watching, like, trying to help people, like, "Can you find us?" Anyway, I'm telling you,
So
I
good.
will just say this. Of all the movies I've been to in a theater in my life, which I don't know how many it's been a lot. It's hundreds at least hundreds of times. I will say this. When we got up to leave, like whenever the movie ended and the credits start rolling,
Mhm.
we stood up, everyone stands up, and I noticed right away, Rachel, this eerie silence in the theater. There was no noise. It's like no one
Yeah.
talked. If it felt like you were at a funeral procession.
Crazy. That is
I've never
such an
seen that
insane
before.
experience. That's
Yes.
actually pretty cool. That is actually pretty awesome that you got to experience that sort of like, collective mindset of like, "Oh my
Yes.
god, like what did we just watch? We have to go find these people and help these people
Yeah.
now." That's
Yeah.
awesome. That is fantastic.
It was incredible. And
So
I've
cool.
never had it. That's never happened again after that. I've never seen it again before or after. And everyone, we were walking out, it's a big theater, lots of people walking down, and everyone was just walking out silence in like a single file.
That's
Like everyone was
crazy.
just somber, and it was crazy. I'm like, this is so bizarre. I've never seen this before.
Yeah,
But I got it though, because I felt the same
awesome.
way. I felt like
Mm,
I just saw something I shouldn't have seen.
shouldn't have seen. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
So anyway, great choice. Great choice.
Thank you.
um, let's see real quick. We've got Jason's joined the stream. Hey, Jason, good to see you, man.
Hey. Mhm.
Good to see you. All right. Hold on. Mayan says it happened to me again with the fourth kind, Stephen. A
Think that's
fourth
that one with
kind?
Mila Jovovich, I think. Oh, no, wait, I could be thinking of the wrong movie.
I'm trying to
Um,
think of the movie, man.
yeah.
I'm blanking out. Blanking out, man. Help me out, me. I'm blanking out.
I was right. It is the one. Okay, so this one has Mila Jovovich, and it's supposed to be like a mockumentary, and she plays a psychologist in
Oh.
Alaska, and people are like disappearing. And yeah, it is
Oh.
quite an intense film because they kind of have this fake like documentary footage with the film that is very, very intense. And
Hey, I've never
yeah, it's
seen
based
that.
on like a loose urban legend about people going missing in Alaska. And And
Oh,
yes, they do. They say at the beginning that the film was real, and I'm with Mayanne. At first, I thought it was real,
oh,
but then some of the footage, like, I was like, "Okay, no, they wouldn't actually put this kind of footage in a
in
movie.
it.
Like, that
I
would
got
be too
you.
much." And that's but no, it was again, it was marketed very well, and it was marketed very similarly, and, it was a very effective movie.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I did not know that. The fourth kind. Okay. All right. Two movies left on my list, on
Yeah.
our both of our lists, and
Mhm.
I'm going to go next with in the '90s again, and it was 1998 with Urban Legend.
I
Yes.
love Urban Legend. Oh,
Oh my
such a fun
gosh.
film.
I could
Mhm.
watch that thing over and over. It's to this day,
Mhm.
I still love it. It's so
Yep.
good. It holds up really well. It's held up,
Yeah.
and it's just fantastic. It's a great again, it's a whodunit. You're trying to figure
Mhm.
out what's going on, and you got somebody in this big hood. What do you call it? It's like a winter jacket
Yes,
with a big
yes, yes, with
hood.
the big black cloaked hood and yeah, like a
Yes,
bomber
and
jacket or a puffer jacket or something.
right,
Mm.
and you can't, you don't know, of course, who it is. You don't know,
No.
and you're trying to figure out that, and then it's just a really really good movie. Um, what's her name? Gayheart. What's her
Becky
name?
Gayheart.
Thank you. She's in it. Gosh, I should have had I don't have the cast list in front of me. Oh, I mean, Robert England. Robert
Yes,
England has a
yes.
part in it.
Joshua Jackson,
Joshua
uh,
Jackson's in it.
Tara Reid back in the day,
That's right.
very
Yes.
90s cast. Michael Rosenbaum, whom I loved from Smallville. So
Yes.
yeah, a
That's
really
right.
fun, very, very 90s cast. It was almost like a who's who of the 90s at the time, that movie.
Like exactly. They were kind of trying to follow the Scream mode a little
Yes,
bit.
yes, definitely.
And it was definitely inspired by Scream, you can tell.
Yes,
But it
yes.
was they did a great job. And it has, like I say, Robert England. There's a cameo by the guy who voices Chucky. What's his name? It's
Yes, Brad Dourif. Mhm.
yeah,
Yes,
Brad
Brad
Dourif has
Dourif.
he has a small role in the beginning of the
Yep.
movie,
Mhm.
and it's just really fantastic. It's so fun to watch, and
Yes,
it's a great
yes.
watch party movie too.
It is it's part of those group of movies that I particularly love, the post-Scream movies. You know, the ones that
Yes.
are full of, like, those young casts in the late '90s. You've got that one, I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Faculty, these all came out around the same time. I was, like, just the right age when I started watching them a few years later, like, in my early teens, and yeah, and I also think with Urban
Yeah.
Legend, it's so much fun because we all know urban legends, we know that
Right.
Aren't You Glad You Didn't Turn on the Light, and Bloody
That's
Mary,
right.
and Hookman, and I love when TV shows and movies play on very common urban legends and myths that everyone knows. So that one
Yeah.
it's and shout out to that black cop lady. She was awesome. She is like the
She is
unsung
good.
hero of that movie. She's so great.
Yes. It was
Trying to be
so
Foxy
good.
Brown and,
Foxy Brown.
quoting, yeah, quoting
Yes.
all the Tarantino movies. She's
That's
great.
right. Oh, she was amazing in her role. She was
Mhm.
so good. And
Yeah.
Danielle Harris is in it as well.
Yes, of course. Yes.
The
Fun fact about Danielle Harris on that movie that I found out, they let her smoke on that movie. They actually let her smoke for real. She was like, "I'm a smoker, just let me smoke." But apparently they did so many takes that she quit smoking after that movie because she just had to smoke so much. So
Oh gosh.
I know. So good
Oh,
for her. She managed to kick the habit. It's a very hard habit to kick.
absolutely. Hey, Troy is here. What's up, Troy? Good to see you,
Troy, good
man.
to see
Man, it says Urban Legend's an amazing
you.
first intro. I
Yes.
mean, it is and it's an amazing period, right? Like
Yes.
even for us seasoned horror people like us, we still
Mhm.
love it too. It's all, but it works for an intro. I think it works for
Yes.
an intro.
Yes. Yes.
Um, let's see. Okay. Oh, hey, listen, real quick before we get to the Rachel's next movie. Thank you, Mayanne. This coming Saturday, just 2 days away, Alan Robinson is returning to the channel, guys, and I'm so excited for this stream. It's going to be fantastic. Rare, there it is, at 7 p.m. Central on Saturday the 18th. And we're going to talk about not just his role as Ghostface in Scream 2 and Matthew Lillard's stunt double in Scream 1. Yes, he's the one that actually has the TV that fell on his head. And we're not going to talk just about those. We're going to talk about his role as Jim Carrey's double in Batman, the Batman movie. I can't think of it. It's right there. It's Batman
And Forever.
Yes. My gosh, I'm blanking out. Sorry. We're going to talk about him being a stunt double for Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump, Road to Perdition, Sully. We're going to talk about all this and more. So, guys, don't miss it. It's this Saturday. Mayanne just posted a link in the chat, and I would appreciate it right now if everyone watching would go right now, just click that link and like it. You just hit the like button. That's all. That would really help the stream get further reach on YouTube Saturday night. So I'm asking you all, there's 13, 15 people, whatever, that are still here. And if you would all click that link right now, and it'll open up a new window, and just hit like. That's all. Just all you got to do. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel just did it. That's awesome. That's going to help it. Again, the algorithm is going to send it out more. And I appreciate that. And Mayanne says she just did it as well. Thank you, May. Awesome. Every single like counts.
Yes.
All right. Now, Rachel, before we go to you real fast, we got a super chat and then we're going to go to you and then we'll have our last movies and we'll be done. Jeff has sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jeff. It says Gremlins is good because it has comedy and horror. The whole family can watch it. That is true.
Very true. And Gremlins is fun. The mother in that movie going full, psycho on the Gremlins with her blender. Great
Yes.
scene.
Oh, that's awesome. It's so good. And, I forgot how intense that movie gets.
Does, doesn't it?
It really does, man.
Yeah, those little buggers. Oh, God, they're nasty.
They are so gross. You go from so
really
cute, adorable Gizmo.
Yeah.
Don't let him get wet. Don't feed him after midnight.
Three rules, man. Only 3 rules, but
That's it.
Well.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, thank you for the super chat and thank you for the recommendation. Gremlins is a great introductory movie, and you're right. Even older kids could watch that and be okay. I think that's a really good one. And for you, Jeff, we'll do a super chat for you, buddy. Appreciate all your support. And Rachel said there's only 3 rules to follow, and when you're at work and you're doing your job, there's just rules that you need to follow. Otherwise, a gizmo turns into a gremlin. And for you as an employee, well, a lot worse can happen. Something maybe like this.
I just figured I could reach over, make the measurement, and I'd be done with the job. I knew better than to wear my gloves when I was operating a lathe. I knew better than to calibrate while the lathe was running. It was a stupid mistake, and it's one I'll be paying for the rest of my life.
Ripped his arm off, Rachel.
That is not good. Work is compo. Work is
For life.
compensation.
Yes, for life. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Real quick, Troy has already hit like on the stream coming up. Thank you, Troy. The Crafty Saver hit like for Alan Robinson's stream. Thank you, guys. And yes, Mayanne, thank you, Mayanne, for thanking everybody as well. Every single one counts, guys. Appreciate you. King Matthew, really quick, recommended 8-Legged Freaks with David Arquette. See, I can't do spiders.
Me either, dude. Me either. Just not.
Can't
And I
do
live in
it.
Australia, okay? We have like the mothers of all spiders
Oh.
here, okay? So, and it is not fun. So
Oh gosh,
no,
that's
spiders are
right.
not good. Can't do
No,
it. Can't do it.
I can't. I have never watched that movie even to this day. I can't. I can't. I know my
Yes, steer clear.
limitations.
Yes.
All right, Rachel. Let's keep moving now. We only
All
have two
right.
left for you.
Second
What's your
last
next
one.
one?
Yes. So my next one, I'm going to the year 2000, which we all thought was going to be the end of the world. Remember that?
Yes, indeed.
And I'm going with, I guess, technically a slasher. It is kind of ranked like people say it's a slasher, but I don't think it quite fits into the slasher genre. But I don't know where I'd put it. I've gone with Final Destination, the original Final Destination, which I think
Oh,
is a really,
yes.
yeah, this is one of my favorite horror movies. I love this movie so much. And again, I think it's a great gateway because it's not too intense. Like, yes, we do have some fun death scenes that do get drawn out, but again, I don't think the blood or the gore is too extreme. And I also really like the concept of death coming for you because, like, how do you escape death?
Yes,
Death has a
exactly.
design, and you just you can't escape it. It's a
No.
really terrifying concept when you stop and think about it like too much. Again, another fun young cast. You've got Devon Sawyer, who, oh my god, was one of my biggest crushes back in the 90s. And again, you've got a lot of other staples from that time. So you got the guy who played Stifler from American Pie. You've got the guy who played Jack from Dawson's Creek.
Yep.
Tony Todd has a great cameo as
Oh,
the mortician. Oh, so
yes.
good.
Awesome.
Just one of my favorite little cameos in any horror movie. He's so good in that. And yeah, I think it's one of those movies that is scary enough and has enough excitement that a new horror fan could enjoy it, but is not so over the top that they would get scared away from the
No,
genre. And again,
that's
I
right.
think this particular era of horror was really fun. It's my favorite kind of era of horror, the late 90s, early 2000s. And a
Yep.
lot of my favorite movies come from that era. So I think the Final Destination is a really fun one. I mean, that opening sequence alone of the plane is just like pure nightmare fuel. And I have
Wow.
a bit of a thing with flying as it is. So, watching that movie is like, oh God. But no, I think it's a really good beginner one. And especially because it has a lot of excitement and a lot of, a lot's going on
Yeah,
in this movie. And so new fans can instantly get sucked in, and yeah, really fun
easily.
performances. And I think there's also some really eerie scenes in Final Destinations, like some quieter scenes, like when Alex is seeing like the signs and, things like that. It does get a little bit deeper. Now,
Yep.
the sequels are up and down in their quality, but I do still think that the original is such a great film, and that it should be on every horror newbie list. So that's Final Destination from 2000.
Love it. And believe it or not, that was my final movie, Final Destination
Oh,
on my list.
awesome!
And
That's so awesome.
yep, it was all the things you said, and as far as a concept for a movie, it was like I thought it was one of the more original ideas since Nightmare 84.
Yes.
Because Wes came up with this brilliant idea where you have a killer in your sleep,
Mhm.
and that's so original and different. And this movie is similar in terms of an original being original to me because how do you escape death? Like you said, that's the question.
Mhm.
You can't. That's the bottom line. And it's going to find you. It's going to hunt you. And it's not a person. It's just death. And the hunt is incredible. The way death tries
Mhm.
to kill these people is so good.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think Final Destination should be on the top of the list. One of the honestly, all these movies are at the top of the list if you ask me, but it is so good. And as far as the sequels go, I actually enjoy all the sequels. There was one I thought was a little weak, but it's
Was
my
it the
least
car
favorite.
one? The race car track one? Because that was the one that I found the weakest.
That's the one. That's the one I feel is the weakest. Exactly. That's it.
Car like crash, defying the laws of physics and gravity, man. Like it just doesn't make
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you. It just didn't to me, it didn't bring it like the others
no,
did.
no.
Um, and my favorite sequel is 5, Final Destination 5.
Interesting. My
It
favorite is the second because I really love the way it ties with the first one. But I did like the
yeah,
fifth one, and I really liked the ending of the fifth one. And again, if you know,
that's what
you
I'm
know,
if you know, you
and
know.
it's fantastic.
Amazing. I
Yeah,
thought it was brilliant how they
yeah.
did that. And
It was a real, yeah, it was a great moment. We can't give too much away, but
no,
if you
no, no,
guys go
no.
and watch it, yeah, you'll definitely see what we mean. Oh, that's so awesome that your final pick coincides with my
Yeah.
second final. Well, I'll quickly do my absolute final, and this is probably one of the more modern movies I had on my list. I've noticed that we've mostly gone for like 90s movies. See, I think people overlook the 90s when it comes to horror. Like everyone wants to talk
Yeah.
about the 70s and the 80s, and I get that, but 90s have got so much great stuff.
So
But this
much.
is a more recent film. This is from the 2010s. And this is, I think, if I wanted to introduce someone to religious horror mixed with a haunting, I
Mhm.
would go with this one, and that is The Conjuring from James Wan,
Ooh,
which I just think is such
yes.
a fantastic haunting, but it also has a
Yes.
little bit of that religious horror in it. Because again,
Right.
like we talked about, you wouldn't drop someone in the deep end with like The Exorcist or something
No.
because like that's a little too
No.
extreme. But I think something like this eases it in. Again, you've got that great buildup of the haunting in the house with the girls and the family. And again, you've got that great
Mhm.
family unit. I think Ed and Lorraine Warren as fictional characters, regardless of what they were like in real life, but as fictional
Yeah.
characters within this movie, I think they're great. You know, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are
Oh,
so good. They are
so
just
good.
fantastic. And again, I think this is one of those ones that is not too extreme, that it builds really nicely until you do get to that climax, which is a little bit intense. But again, it's
Right.
not too bloody, it's not too over the top. I think that it's just scary enough that a newbie could watch it and not be terrified, but would still get the thrills that you want from one of these movies. And I just think James Wan, his direction in that movie is so good. He builds
Oh,
atmosphere so well.
so
It's
well.
beautifully shot, you know, it's just everything about it is so well done. And it
Yep.
has become one of my favorite, like more modern ghost stories because I just think it is just so beautifully put together. So that rounds out my list. The Conjuring by James Wan. That is the final one for my list.
Woo!
That was really fun.
That was so much fun, guys. I really enjoyed this, Rachel. And
Me
you know,
too. Thank you so much for having me on.
oh, you're welcome. You know, we had a little crossover, but we had some we do
Mhm.
a lot of that we were not the same, which I think is great
Mm.
too.
Yeah.
And I agree about The Conjuring. I had never I'd put off watching that movie for so long because I don't like to watch religious horror in
I get
general.
that. It's not for everyone.
And it's,
Mhm.
yeah, it's not for everyone. And it was Knight, my buddy, you know Knight, my buddy Knight.
Yes. Yes.
He
Mhm.
he said, "Man, he said, I really believe you'll be okay with this." So I trusted Knight, and we did a
Mhm.
watch party, and I loved it. I thought
So
it was
good.
amazing,
Mhm.
and so I'm with you. The Conjuring would be a great way to ease someone into that haunting, uh, like I say, religious or possession, however you want to call it, that kind of genre.
Mhm.
Um, but having said that, well, go to the chat real quick, and we'll call it a night. Um, you'll call it a day, I guess. I'll
Yes,
call it a
yes, it's
night.
the afternoon here.
That's so funny. May says, "Love The Conjured." Yes, so good. Scott says, "Good times, Craven and Rachel." Well, thank you. I'm glad you
Scott.
enjoyed this stream.
Thanks for sticking around.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, you both, Rachel and Steven, great choices. Thanks, Jeff. Man, I
Jeff.
appreciate it. And thank you, Jeff, for gifting memberships tonight and
Yes.
giving some
Mhm.
super chats to the channel. That's very kind of you, bro. Paula's never seen The Conjuring. Oh,
I would highly recommend it, Paula, and the sequel as
yes.
well. So, so good.
Yes,
Do it. Do
I agree.
get yourself a double feature. Get some popcorn, put a few hours aside one night and have a double feature.
100%. Conjuring 1 and 2.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, you're welcome, Paula. You're very welcome. I'm glad we were able to do this tonight.
Mhm.
I had a blast, Rachel. This was so much fun.
I did too.
Um,
It was fantastic. Again, thanks for having me on. I loved hearing your picks and the reasons for it. I knew that we'd have
Same.
Scream as a crossover, obviously, because we both love that movie so much. But
Of course.
I liked the other two that we had. That was really interesting. And yeah, loved
Yeah.
your picks. I had a lot of fun doing this.
Oh, same here. Loved yours as well. Thought they were all good. And some of those that were not on my list that you picked, I'm like, oh yeah, like that's a really good one. And so it was, good. It was a good mix. I think it was a good
Yes.
mix. Yeah.
So if there
Um,
are any newbie horror fans in the chat, hoping you took notes.
exactly. And if you didn't, just watch the replay,
Hmm.
and you can fast forward. You can get all the movies.
Yep.
Oh gosh, May says awesome stream, guys. Thank you, May. Appreciate you.
Awesome.
Julie says so much fun. Thank you, Stephen and Rachel. Thank you,
Thank
Julie.
you.
Thanks for being here, and May as well, moderating the chat,
Hmm.
hanging out, keeping things going, and putting up links and all those fun things. I appreciate you guys. Scott says have a good night. Crafty says good night. Jeff says the horror movies I sang with and I saw when I was a kid. I'm surprised I'm not in therapy. Oh, I hear you, bro.
Yeah, I think we all watched a few horror movies we weren't supposed to as children.
Oh gosh, 100% for me. I can vouch for that. Oh gosh. Well, guys, listen, we're gonna leave it here for tonight. Rachel, I'll see you backstage, so don't go anywhere. But for everyone else in the chat, thank you all for being here, and I'm glad you guys had a good time. We did too. And thanks for all your super chats tonight that were donated to the channel. It really helps out a lot. So thank you. And I will be back. Don't forget Saturday night on the 18th, which is coming right up, with Alan Robinson, Ghostface from Scream 2, Matthew Lillard's stunt double, and he's stunt double for, again, Tom Hanks, Jim Carrey. It's going to be, and Clint Eastwood too. He's done stunt double work for Clint Eastwood. So he's got great stories to tell about these movies that you've never heard from anywhere else. So it's going to be a really fun experience on Saturday. And I told him, I said, normally when he comes on, I've had him on a couple of times, we focus on Scream exclusively. And I told him this time I want to focus on other things too. So it's going to be good.
Great. I'm going to try and be there. So
I would love it. That would be awesome. All right, guys. Well, listen, we're going to call it. We're going to go ahead and leave it here. You guys have a wonderful night. And I will see you all hopefully Saturday night at 7 p.m. Central. Good night, guys.